You're such an asshole.
All right, final one for the day. Then Cappy gonna hit the gym to get the girls. Then I'm gonna go putz around in the desert with Thor and Glenn. We're gonna go fly a drone because we're nothing more than grown-up little boys. We never mature into men. We just get pubes. And then I'm gonna be on the show with the guys. I think it's gonna be on Rolo's channel. But anyway, I had a consultation with a young lady. It's occasional, rare, but it does happen. And just like the boys want to get the girls, some of the girls wants to get the boys. And kind of not too unlike my advice to you boys. After a while, it kind of becomes rote. Like in maybe you guys don't watch the show, but Wheel of Fortune, everyone just kept picking the same darn letters that they now just give it to you and they make the puzzle harder to solve. Kind of like that. And so I give the women all the same advice. Like, yeah, here's the free advice. All right. Because if you're not going to do this, don't even bother consulting with me. Are you fat? No? Okay, let's move on. Are you a pain in the ass? No? Okay, let's move on. Are you a Marxist, feminist, Kuantahaha? No, you aren't. Let's move on. Do you have stupid piercings and purple hair and tattoos on your face and a split lip tongue? No, you don't. Let's move. So after we get through that, which wipes out, the obesity thing right there, statistically, it would solve 70% of women's problems. But usually the demographic I get when it's gals is they're younger, 18, 19, 20. They want to get married. There was a dad around, or somehow they got inoculated against the feminist thing. Or maybe they just look and said, I don't want to go to school for 6 years to get a worthless degree. They legit old school little house on the prairie, want to settle down and get married, have kids. And the problem I got to tell them is and they're young, they're in shape, they're traditional, they don't have student loan debt. A lot of them haven't even gone to college yet. I say, okay, I'm sorry, but boy, you're gonna have to date older. And that's usually the harder one. I don't want to date. And by older, I mean like 35. I'm like, yeah, but one, your generation of boys are dumber than F. I know we're very critical of the women here. But the boys are not that much better. I mean, they've got a driver's license. They don't work. They're fat. They can't throw a ball. I mean, you've seen them. They're playing their video games. They're on their antidepressant, whatever. They're just a mess. And then what boys, young men are industrious. They're not even in the mindset. They have not been conditioned to get married. They've been conditioned since they were 5 that women don't need them. I'm not even trying to sound sad or woe is them. It's just they're told they're not needed. Women aren't going to be getting ready until they're about 30 anyway. Women got to get their degree. So for, say, a 19-year-old young woman who wants to marry a 24-year-old, I can't even say man because they're kids. They're all too young for me. Young man. That 24-year-old kid ain't in the mindset. He's just getting out of college. He's just starting. He's got to pay off his student loans because a bunch of Marxist, feminist Karens and HRs want you all to go into debt for master's degrees. So he doesn't have the money to support you. Then you girls keep voting Democrats to raise the taxes. So he definitely post-tax what he takes home can't support a family. So these girls are just up bleep creek. And I'm like, you're going to have to date an older guy. I don't want to. What? There's your solution. But then there is an element every once in a while I will get girls who aren't like, they don't fit this stereotype. They're like, well, okay, I've had my party years, willing to settle down now. You got anybody else's kids? Which is a separate conversation. And they're saying, well, there aren't a lot of guys out there. Which I'm like, yes, there are not. You raised a bunch of, frankly, Democrat men. Too bad for you. And then they want to find the rich guy, and in natural genetics guy, I want to find a rich guy who's good looking, blah, blah, blah. So I've had this conversation before about how to find a rich man. And you girls don't know how to find a rich man. You couldn't tell a rich man if he sat right next to you, because what you go after is the guy he spreads his feathers. He's peacocking. What you see is men who spend money, not rich men. And there's a difference. Now, rich men might have a lot of money and they might spend it. All right. But unless you got their balance sheet, unless you got an audited financial statement or their credit score or their Dun and Bradstreet report, you're not going to know whether that's borrowed money or whether they're a legit rich guy. And on the other side of that same coin is there could be rich guys and you wouldn't know it. You know why? They don't spend their money. I've told the story many times before about how in banking, the only two rich people I found, one was a dentist and he did not pull up in a fancy car. The other was a shoe store guy, like Al Bundy, but he owned the store. And he pulled up in a used Ford Ranger, which is a small little pickup truck back in the day. You wouldn't have known these men were millionaires because they didn't spend their money. They didn't advertise. And so I gave some inside baseball to a couple gals on how do you find a rich man. It's like, well, number one is what is his job? If he's in sales, bro, he's not rich. If he talks about his car payment, he's not rich. You know? And there's other things you could go, I'm sure if you search for it, you could find it. But then these guys like, well, how do I find a young guy who is going to make money? Not because they want a rich guy, they want a stable guy. And I think there's a little bit of unfair criticism where all the men call you girls gold diggers, but they're not terribly off on that either. But where I could see, like, yeah, women, they want you to have a job. They want you to be financially stable. And especially if these girls are younger and they want to have a family, they need one income and they want you to be reliable and responsible to have a job. Not because they're going to be rich, although they'd like that too. They just want to make sure you're going to produce an income. They're not going to starve. And so what I've found a lot with the consultation, the handful of consultations I give young gals, maybe not so young gals, when it comes to finding men, is you got to look past what you were told to like, right? Past that. Especially look past the status. Oh, he needs to be an investment banker, surgeon, astronaut. You need to look past that and like, okay, he's a chemical engineer. He's got a house. He's bought some rental property. You look at his career and younger. And then you look at things like, okay, well, he doesn't dress nice. Ladies, shut the F up. Okay, so he didn't comb his hair. He's wearing a hat. He's okay, fine. Does he look behind? Like if Sean Connery, let's just say Sean Connery. If Sean Connery just wore sweatpants and a cap and some sunglasses, he wouldn't stand out, would he? Does that mean Sean Connery is not underneath? Like he can't clean up real good? And I know you girls are used to having everything just served to you on a silver platter, but for you girls that are husband hunting and you want to find a guy and you'd like to do something within your power and take agency. Oh, what a comedy routine. I'm so funny. But for those of you that would like to increase your chances, I say what you need to do is, the guy's got a gruffy beard. Look through it. Cheekbone. Does he look like a good guy? Handsome, I mean. And this is called looking for diamonds in the rough. Women want the diamond on display right there with lights shined on it on a gallery on their way to the office. Oh, there he is. I go to the husband store, the boyfriend store, and pick up the husband. There he is, all shiny in his package. That guy's got a billion girls chasing after him. You need to find the guy. Like, I know this one guy, he's a 10 firefighter. He doesn't go out and glitz himself up and look. He doesn't advertise. He's got other things going on. He's not sitting there at home playing video. He's got other important things going on. But unless you took the time to, just try this as an exercise, ladies. Go into some public place. I don't care, a coffee shop, wherever. And then not stare at them, but you're going to have to stare at them. But when they're not looking, scope out a guy beyond the quick half a second. He's wearing jeans. Look at the guy. See if there's a good-looking man underneath those crappy clothes. They'll dress, I'm sure they got a suit somewhere, right? But if there's anything, I say, look, you got to open up your eyes a little bit and look around and see where there's a handsome man who isn't wearing the outfit, who's not costumed up to be a handsome man. You got to, the diamond in the rough, but, and it's not even lowering your standards, but more asking yourself, is that guy sexy enough that I'd want to sleep with him? Like, if he is, that major hurdle is done. And instead of going like, that's the absolute top alpha guy I'm going to get, and I'm going to compete against the thousands of other women that just throwing tail at that guy, you're not going to get him. But if you found a guy that was good looking enough that you could have you sleep with him, you're sexually turned on by him, okay, well, that really increases your statistical pool because physical attraction is the number one thing, and blah, 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 blah. So I try to get girls to look past, like, you're looking for a bragging piece, an art piece, something you could show off to your girlfriends. Like, you're not looking for love. You're not looking for a man. You're looking for a thing that you can then brag to your girlfriends. Oh, and this is why status, he's a surgeon, or he's the investment banker, or whatever. And for these younger, more traditional type of minded gals, or maybe just gals who are finally serious, like, I'm doing something. Okay. All right. You went out with the high school quarterback. You dated, I don't know, what's sexy? I'm trying to be the fighter pilot. They're sexy. Yeah, they're okay. You did that. All right. Now, do you want a good man? And now it's like, okay, let's train our eyes to look for something a little bit different. But with this recent consultation I had, she was talking about the guys her age don't have the jobs yet. I'm like, you're right. They don't. And instead of having wealth, what I said is through kind of accidental conversation, just by the natural course of conversation, it dawned on me that responsibility is probably the number one trait you girls should be looking for. Now, I know that's Snoresville. I know that's boring. I'm not talking to you girls who want to go and whore it up a little bit more. Then don't go find T-Rash. He's out there. Sometimes he's even in the chat room. He makes a visit every once in a while. The T-Rash makes a visit. But if you are serious about finding a quality man, I'm not discounting. Hey, I'm not saying skip the VTs. You need to get the VTs, right? He has to be physically good looking. So once again, look past the glasses, look past the beard. Is that a physically attractive man? But then, especially if you younger girls are in this paradox, well, I want to find a guy roughly my age who isn't 42, but with responsibility. Now, how do you identify responsibility? Well, it's boring things. Does he have a job? Is he going to be an investment banker at 23? Probably not. But does he work regularly as an Uber driver? Does he work regularly? Does he have a daytime job and then works a nighttime shift as a bartender or a security guard or whatever to pay off his student loans? Does he pay off his boring things? Does he not complain about his credit card? I mean, you can ask him about this. Because guys never get these questions asked. You say, do you got student loans? Simple, innocent question to ask a man who's 23, 24. Yeah. What, you paying them off? Or, how do you tackle that? And then if he's like, well, I'm waiting for Biden, because he's a Democrat man. He's technically a Democrat woman. I'm hoping for student loan bailouts. Man, those Republicans in the Senate are keeping me down. Not a responsible man. This is the man that when, the car breaks down, he's going to complain about it instead of grab his tools and fix it. Because obviously I come from a financial background, and finances is the ultimate economic action of your responsibility or lack of responsibility you put forth in the real world. But what are you doing for retirement? Questions that are not fun on dates, but it's going to identify quickly who the responsible man is. Yeah, I got an IRA. I don't have a lot contributed to it. I'm still paying off my student loans, that kind of thing. Or another thing where, hey, that's a really nice car. How'd you afford it at such a young age? They'll brag, yeah, I got a sweet deal on it, man. Oh, you mean price? No, I got it financed at 7%. No. The guy who drives a 12-year-old Ford Explorer, who fixes it himself, way more responsible than Pretty Boy Floyd, who financed it at 12% with his daddy co-signing with his degree in marketing, brah. And I know that guy's going to be feeling, ooh, he wears sunglasses indoors. He's so sexy. He got the VTs. Meanwhile, there's Jerome, sort of black guy, our token black guy, Jerome. There he is. He's an apprentice in the trades. He learned how to do framing. Here's his work truck. He's got his work truck. Right. And then he's got like dirty pants because he's been, the sheetrockers came in and mud and taped. He got some on him, maybe some paint. If that, there's a perfect example of where your conditioning and training lays like, oh, he's gross. A savvy woman, young or not, would look and say, oh, he's employed and he's got skills. And you got to give the young guys a little bit of time to develop the skills. They're not going to be a master welder at 22. Unless his dad started him at 16, which would be good. So you got to say, how responsible is this guy? Now, responsibility, I admit, is not sexy. At least to young women right off the bat. But ask any older woman, and I'm not talking like grandma age, but any woman who's been married and has lived in a house with a man, they have a house. You ask them how sexy is if the guy can fix things. We've kind of talked about this before in other capacities in regards, mainly how the men are dropping out of the labor force. Where have all the men gone? Gee, Scooby-Doo mystery. I'm not going to go into that again because no one's going to listen. But then they start coming out with these videos of girls. One girl's crying on TikTok because the plumber said it's $250 to fix the toilet. So, okay, there's not a guy there. But even then, more modernly, let's say you have a guy. You are married. This is why I'm saying talk to these women who are married or were married. Say, did your project manager husband ever fix the house? Did your whatever, I'm trying to think, like, your white collar professional husband, did he ever fix the car? Did he ever fix the house? And where that becomes important is several things. One, you probably want a nice house to live in, not a super fancy one, but you'd like your toilets to work, your refrigerators to work. It directly affects your standard of living. If you have the husband or the man who never mows the yard, never fixed the lawnmower, never fixes that, never fixes this, your standard of living decreases. Another thing is the finances. A man who could fix stuff, well, one, you save a lot in repair bills, but as he's always maintaining things, whether it's the cars, the computers, the homes, or whatever else, things don't go wrong. And then, whereas you girls, of course, this was I don't think it would have been a rental, because if the girl was crying because the plumber was going to charge her $250, then it was her place. So she bought her condo. She can't, well, now you're paying $250. Hell, I'll give you another example. I actually one of the more responsible men in the world. Probably one of the top 1% now that I think about it, because of my frugality. I go to the cigar lounge. They hire good-looking girls because they know what they're doing. And I've befriended a couple. Nice ladies. There's a sign up on the bathroom that says, toilet not working, go to the different one. I'm like, I've gone in there. The toilet just gets unhooked from the lever. So I go in, I take off the lid. Sure enough, it's unhooked. I just hook it back up and put it back on. Oh my God, I was like Jesus Christ himself. You fixed it? Yeah. I said, all you got to do is put in the, oh no, they don't want to learn about that. Ooh, touch a toilet, grody. But no, I'm Jesus Christ superhero toilet cleaner, not even toilet cleaner, toilet fixer. That saves problems. That saves money. That saves time. That saves stress. And you go talk to the older gal. Say, how important, run it past him theoretically. See, I know another, let me tell you another story. Dude, I know this guy. He's a god among men. He's a legit angel. This guy can fix anything. He can fix anything. Taught me how to shingle roofs. He fixed his car. He fixed the house. He's always working, always improving. And his wife absolutely adores him. Because she knows how important it is to have a responsible man. But I am so envious, like in a good way. I'm like, man, I need 5 lifetimes to be as good as this. He can fix anything. And he's also the type of guy, it's like, okay, that's fixed. Well, what now can be improved? Oh, we could get more water pressure on the hot tub. Oh, I could install solar panel. Like, there's no problems at the house. And so you talk to women. You talk to older women like, hey, I know I'm at that stage yet. I want to go out with the douchebag with the sunglasses indoors because the television and the rap videos told me to. You talk to a woman, even like 30, as long as they were married or living with the guy and they had a house. That's the key thing. They had a house. How valuable would it be to have a man who could fix anything in the house? Who the second the car went down had it. I'll tell you another story. Another story. Driving around with the GF and my grandma, who still is alive today. I think she was 90 or 91 at the time. We're driving around. Also, the car starts pulling left. I'm like feeling something like, I think we got a flat. Sure enough, we got a flat. It's cold. It's winter. So I get in there. I loosen the bolts, jack it up, take it off, put on the donut. Drive to the gas station because it was just a puncture hole. I go to the gas station. I get a plug. All right. I fill it full of air. You're filling it full of air because you need pressure. I plug it, take the donut off, put the fixed tire back on, all in under half an hour. Grandma and my girlfriend were very impressed. Very impressed. The car isn't down for a week because Tanner, your millennial or Zoomer boyfriend, didn't know. Lug nuts, what's that? Is it like a macadamia nut? Do you eat it? They didn't have to go get an Uber. They didn't have to call AAA. Boom, done. Half an hour. Now we're back on the road again. Like no time lost. Even got gas while we were doing it. You ask those women who have a guy in the house, that house they owned, how valuable is it to have a man that can fix up the house? And she'll tell you whether or not the man was responsible or not, how valuable it was. If the guy couldn't fix anything to save his life, she'll be like, oh my God, Tanner couldn't fix it. You know, probably divorced. Or then there's the woman who maybe oh yeah, he can, dude, not sexy at 19 or 20 or 21, 20, anything in your 20s. Pretty darn sexy long-term if you want a guy. And so whereas you want the 38-year-old established man, but you don't want to be 38, and you don't know if the 23-year-old boy you find physically attractive, if he's going to be responsible, those are indicators. His finances. Does he work? I mean, the student loan thing right there, if he has student loans, that's like the number one thing. You girls want to find a quality man who's the diamond in the rough. You can't just tell. Find out what his plan is to pay off his student loans. Now, I know you girls are just like, oh my God, somebody not me pay for it. Strong, independent woman. President Biden, forgive it, but I'm strong, independent woman. I think, though, the women who hire me out, a little bit more intellectually honest. But if the guy is like, oh yeah, I'm working a second job, but got to pay off my student loans or credit card bills or whatever, there's your guy. There's a guy who's got a tools in the back of his trunk and they're dirty, not fancy. They just bought it at Harbor Freight. Look it up. All right. Like he's doing like, oh yeah, I got to change some simple, like I have to do anything with the car. Something simple as an air filter. Maybe there's your guy. If he asks you questions like, hey, when's the last time you got an oil change? God. What? This is happening even in my day. I knew one girl drove 40,000 miles on her car. I'm like, how is the engine not blowing up? How? What is the oil made of nowadays? The guy fixes his car. He fixes the computer. Do. There's your guy. He knows how these are not major things, but he knows how to install a washer, install a dryer. You know, just the fact he has a tool. There's your guy. And it may not be sexy now. And, you know, maybe in an ideal world, you live, you find a way to find that sexy, but it is responsible. And that is an indicator by which to find a guy that will maybe not be the astronaut, surgeon, investment banker, billionaire. He won't be Christian Grey, but he will be financially responsible. He will not have tons of debt. He will have a car that is in operating order. He's the guy here. You want to talk about where the big money savings? Let's talk about cars for a second. He's the guy where there's the pretty boy Floyds you want who can't fix a car to save their lives. And they go get a brand new car off the lot and they drive it around and the warranty is up or the 3 years go by or the lease is done, and now the car has some basic problems, basic scheduled maintenance problems, like time to swap out the coolant, time to swap out the transmission fluid, time to timing belts and seals, all right? And once a little bit of maintenance poo has to happen and he has to go to the mechanic because he doesn't know how to do it, he says, "It's time to get a new car." And he goes and gets the shiny new car and ups his payment from $700 a month to $900 a month. And you wonder why there's no money, why you can't send your kids to college. The people, though, who buy it from him are the ones like, I know how to do a timing belt. Yeah, I can put on new brake pads. We're not talking advanced stuff here. Depending on how big the bay is, oh, yeah, it needs a new radiator, although your car's pretty old if it needs a new radiator. I miss my Chevy Caprice Classic. That's the guy. Because that guy isn't paying $700 to $800 to $900 a month on a car he leases or borrows from the bank, where the parents at the bank let him drive their car. He's the one that could take that 4, 5, 6-year-old vehicle and make it last another 10 years so that you don't have to work. You can actually be the stay-at-home mom if you want to have that. Because I don't know if you knew this, if your payment is $700 a month and you go down to paying only $200 a month on a car, that's $500 a month. You can make that's a budget for some food and some utilities. And all of a sudden, it becomes a lot easier for people to be a one-income family if you want to have that traditional family. But you're not going to get it by some douchebag with his MBA from the Carlson School of Management flipping houses and trading, brah, where every asset he owns is with other people's money, the bank's money, or sometimes the taxpayers' money, buying flashy crap instead of essentially buying freedom and food, clothing, shelter, and a nice stable house for you to live in. And so that is the one. It's like eating your broccoli. I know responsible men are not sexy. I know a guy who can repair your computer and build, landscaping. It's not exciting, but it's vital. Put a drainage, French drain away from the house so the foundation doesn't crack and break. And you got a $50,000 repair job later because your MBA dude bro, project manager husband doesn't know that water is bad for foundations. Why is it moldy down here all the time? You want to grab a shovel? Oh, it sounds like real work. Go move your mouse and click a little bit more. But that's what I do, girls. And we're way ahead. We're way ahead here in the red pill community, literally decades ahead. Now just Fox News finally acknowledged Rollo Tomasi exists. We've been talking about how tradesmen are going to be, they already are. They're making way more money than your average finance major. They're making way more money, certainly way more money than your average college graduate. They're in better financial shape than nearly everyone else on the planet. And we know it's not sexy, but why don't you start looking at tradesmen? Ooh, gross. He's an electrician. I don't know. Do you like electricity? Do you like your Apple phone charged up there, sweetheart? So now, let's just focus on that and we'll talk about the efficacy of this message. So that's what I would recommend you girls do is I know it's not exciting, but start looking for responsible men. It is if you're older too, ladies. I mean, you find a guy who's got retirement plan and say, not that you're digging for his finances, but you look for a responsible man. Usually these are better people, not like scheming and scamming. We'll flip houses and trade stocks, bro. To the moon, bro. Crypto, bro. Like those guys they're not responsible in their finances. They're not responsible anywhere else. Usually they get fat by the time they're in their 50s. Right. So I know responsibility is boring, but it is an indicator of much better things to come. So that's what I would focus on if you want to not be a miserable, lonely Gen X spinster with dried up eggs. Just saying. And then this comes down to the efficacy and reach of this message. I know the vast majority of women are not going to listen to this. I know you want the shiny trinket. You want the shiny pony. You want to show off your status symbol to your girlfriends or to yourself. That's fine. It's your life. You can do however you want. This is more of a message for younger gals who, you want the traditional life. You want to be a stay-at-home mom. It's going to be for traditional gals of any age. Maybe you're 38, 39, and you got divorced, and I can't find where all the good men. May I recommend you look for a guy like Mike Rowe. You look for a guy who is responsible. And yes, you may have to give up flirtini nights at happy hour where oh my God, I remember this place. This is more of a boomer thing. There was a bar in the Twin Cities, although this goes any place. There was this high-end bar with the then 50-year-old men would go to, and the men would take their keys and put it on the bar. This is when people pick people up at bars. Put their keys up on the bar, but make sure that the BMW symbol was up or the Mercedes symbol was up, because relationships between men and women is absolutely not prostitutional. It is absolutely not transactional. They just like looking at the logo and the emblem of their luxury cars. It wasn't to signal wealth, and women certainly don't respond to wealth. Where was I going with that? Oh, if you want to avoid that, by the way, all those guys with those keys, they didn't actually own the car. They were borrowing it from the bank or leasing it. If you actually want to have success this time around, recommend responsible men. And I know instead of looking for Mercedes keychains at bars, maybe you should be looking for Carhartt pants that got some mud and oil and certainly mud itself, but sheetrocking mud and paint. Maybe instead of looking for a guy with a brand new shiny, ooh, it's so pretty. Ooh, we got a Cadillac. The man with the smallest penis, the one who drives the Escalade, small penis, so shiny and pretty. Why don't you look for the guy with a work truck that's dinged up and battered up a bit? Just saying, maybe, I know, he'll pull up at your corporate executive event, whatever you do in your nonprofit, in the truck. You'll be ashamed, but he'll be in a suit. He'll look good. He'll be also in way better shape than all the project managers at the company party. And then those guys will show up in not their Cadillac Escalades and not their Mercedes, the bank's Mercedes and the bank's Escalades. And you'll go and you'll find out they're douchebags. Oh, I cannot find a man. And then you'll be 58. And then keep repeating. And then you'll be dead. Meanwhile, the little 19-year-old girl figured it out, found the 24-year-old boy. He worked, at his dad's landscaping firm. And now, who knew? Who knew they had better finances? All right, so link below is a book called The Book of Numbers. It was written for men, but I want you girls to read it so you know your statistical chances of finding a quality man. Because whereas I did a statistical analysis on the type of women out there and who's marriage material and all that other stuff, you could not do that analysis without also looking at the men. And just look at it. Look at it. See what your competition is. See how few good men are out there. And if you want a couple tricks and trades, maybe consider what I've recommended here about looking for the diamonds in the rough, looking past the bad fashion, and actually finding yourself a quality good man who you're originally, of course, physically attracted to. There you go. Hopefully that helps out. Let's go to the super chats. Let's go to the super chats, Let's go to the super chats and have ourselves a treat. All right. Today's donations go to the cigar lounge. I'm probably going to go to later with the guys after we have the show. John Watson, $5. Looking good. Black truck driver here. I've literally had women ask me if I plan on going back to school because they couldn't pee with the truck. Dude, and I bet you and Alex are cleaning house. See, you know what, John, you hit it right on the head. The truck driver is the epitomal example of a quality, reliable man who probably has your crap together. If for any other reason, if you're on the road all day, you can't piss away your money at the bar all the time either. I mean, there's that. You're just driving. They wouldn't give you the time of day. And little do they know that you likely have you're richer than your average investment banker. girls think guys in finance make all the money. It's like, no, they just wear the suits. Hey, John, I don't know if you ever come through South Dakota, but you don't have to do a super chat, but email me if you would. Do you ever stop at the Flying J on the east side of Rapid City where they got like the dance hall and the bar and kind of the nightclub in the back? It's a little kept secret. I don't know if you're on the northern routes though. Yeah, but you hit that out of the park. You're right. You're right. You girls should be going for every truck driver before you go for every non-STEM college graduate. I don't care if the guy has his PhD. If it ain't in STEM, it's crap. Like Tanner has his master's degree in social work. Go out with a truck driver. Rianne Schwarzer, $5. Being responsible has absolutely knocked me out of some dates because going to the clubs 2 times a week doesn't work in my budget. Trying to save money. Yeah, but too bad for them, I guess. And here's where let's talk about the other side of this coin, the responsible men. Guys, don't throw away your responsibility because that means you're going to throw away your life and your finances and what you could attain and achieve. I mean, it's almost a joke now. You almost got to laugh at these girls where oh, you're a truck driver? I couldn't go out with you. I'd be laughing my ass. I'm like, okay, have fun going out with your student debt-ridden, credit card debt-ridden, car loan-ridden. What's a lame white-collar job? Supply chain manager. Have fun with that. Have fun. Yeah, I'll just say it. Glenn Lawrence. Glenn, what are you guys on the road or what? $5. Hey, Cappy. Thor and I are in town, headed to the gym, going to lift some weights for you. I'm going to the gym right after this and try and get back before you guys get here. It's just people keep giving me this money, man. I don't know what to do. It's like, I feel like a stripper. They just throw money at me. Shake my tush. There's the sad thing. I almost guarantee if I went up to girls and like, hey, how you doing? What do you do? I'm an internet influencer. What? Really? Yeah, I'm kind of internet famous. Really? Yeah. I pissed away all the money. Didn't save a dime, but I'm an internet influencer. Oh my God. Can I touch your pee now? Yes, you may. When I was a security guard living in a basement, being very good with my finances, that impressed no. Well, it did impress one girl. One girl was impressed with that. Dave Laro, $10. Cappy, speaking some truth to the common man. I did the artwork on Rollo Book 5. I'm also a mason and a woodworker. Learn skills, man. Yeah. Probably more rewarding, too. You get to see your work. Whereas at the end of a nightclub, all you got is the credit card bill for you and everybody else's drinks. Oh, wow. $35. Chess Newbie, thank you very much for the 35. Just bought the menu. Makes a lot of sense. Well, I'm glad it helps out. Glad it helped. Also, thank you for the $35. That's awfully generous. Where'd we go? Liam Leno, I got these glasses, and for whatever reason, I can't read. I got to go way back here. These glasses were supposed to help me. Liam Lenover, 10 Canadian bucks. Ontario colleges are recommending high school teachers to take anti-black racism courses. Well, why just black? So they can teach high schoolers to become self-aware of their privilege. This is why you should just you should teach yourselves. Pull your kids out of school. Teach them at home. Stripey Cat, 10 Australian dollars. Many younger men today didn't have dads who taught them how to fix simple household issues or even get under the bonnet. That's a hood for Americans. And fix basic mechanical problems or even service a vehicle. Correct, but now we have YouTube. That's how I learned. My dad, he might have, but he never taught me. So I had to learn through YouTube. And I started on motorcycles, which is a great way to start. Are we caught up? I think we're caught up. There you go. All right. So link below. Everybody, you could get the book of numbers, analyzing the ROI in the pursuit of women. Ladies, if you want to find a guy, there you go. But again, I think I'm talking to less than 5% of the female population. I mean, what percent of women want to? Curious. I mean, like only 5% of you want to be stay-at-home moms, right? Most of you do want to go, based on the polling data I've seen, the vast majority of you want to work and have careers, which is fine. I mean, I'm not judging it. I'm just trying to see who this audience. But if you just want a trinket, you want a shiny husband. Oh, there you go. Here's shiny husband right there. Why did he get fat? Why did he get caught for embezzlement? Why is the IRS investigating my husband? I don't know. You married a dude, bro. What? All right, see you guys later. Toodles.